And did you always know you wanted to be a professional dog trainer, even from when you were growing up, or what was sort of the evolution?
So I started college as a vet student, pre-vet, and decided that I didn't really want to work in the veterinary field after working at the vet school. I just couldn't handle that part of it. I realized I'm not able to do that. I kept thinking, I'm going to be able to work with just healthy animals, and that's not the case. I don't know. I was clueless. And so then I ended up in IT instead, because that's, the complete polar opposite of working with animals and their people. And then a little white dog walked into my life. And after developing some behavior problems, I ended up over here in this field.
Was the little white dog like your first dog, or was it a potential or a client's dog?
No, I've had a lot of dogs in my life, and this one I found running free in my neighborhood. Her name's Tic Tac. She's still with me. And, she developed some aggression issues, and I hired several trainers and slowly found my way to finding a better way to help her.
And for someone who maybe finds themselves in a similar situation right now, if they're looking to hire a trainer, or maybe a Tic Tac just came into their life and has some regression issues, what's some things people should look out for to ensure that they're getting a science-based positive reinforcement trainer?
I think that's the key is, looking for the words force-free, looking for the words science-based, looking for positive reinforcement. I think looking for things that would make you feel comfortable to do. If you were doing these to your children, I think is another thing. And I think even the words that pop up a lot now are kind, friendly, training that you feel comfortable doing. I think that's my primary, that's where I got to. I got away from, everything that I was doing. I was like, I don't think this is right. This isn't helping our relationship. So relationship building is another good one that I would be looking for. Anything that you would do to help build a relationship, not harm it in any way.
You, like a crossover trainer, as it seems, most trainers maybe started off with some maybe older style methodologies, and as they got more experience and learned more about behavior, became 100% science-based and force-free.
I think not really, because I was a layperson going in. I mean, I was still in the IT field, so I was a layperson going in. I knew nothing really about dog training. She was the first dog I've ever had that had any behavior problem like that. I mean, food stealing, that sort of thing. But until I got to that, and so I hired someone to come in, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. This can't be the way that you would handle this type of situation. And from there, I just started reading anything I could get my hands on, going to school, going to different classes, going to workshops, and slowly got away from those types of methods. And then I decided to become a professional trainer because people wanted to hear more.
What was the first professional accreditation that you decided to undertake in your path?
Pat Miller Academy.
Okay, and then when you completed Pat Miller, do you remember maybe like the first dog that you worked with as a brand new shiny trainer?
Yeah, I do. That poor little dog. No, not the poor little dog. I remember just having this little face there, and this was a puppy that I worked with first when I came out of there. And not while I was in, because when I was in, we worked with dogs at the Pat Miller Academy. But once I, got home and had my first client, and I had a little puppy, and I remember looking at the face going, I'm still not sure where to begin. I think that's just, the thing, but I do remember watching the light go off as I was doing it, even though I was fumbling a little bit. I remember the light in the dog's eyes just kind of changed to, hey, this is actually a very fun experience. And I remember thinking, oh, I wish I could have given that to my dog back then,
The puppy have a specific behavior issue, or you were hired to do general training?
Hired to do general training, which is what I felt competent to be able to do at the time.
So from the general training to sort of your focus now on dogs with storm phobia or noise phobia, how did that evolve?
Again, back to our little white dog. What really happened was I realized that the aversive techniques that had been used in the past created some behavioral challenges for us that were beyond the aggression. I often say now, I wish I had been able to just work with what I know now with the aggression, because the anxiety was so much harder to work with, that developed from that, the kind of the ramifications, the fallout. And so taking her through it, I started meeting other people. I started reaching out on groups and started finding other people that were suffering with the same, storm phobia, and realizing that there's not a lot out there. So again, back to the books, researching classes, workshops, anything you could take, anything I could take. And I developed a program and have worked several dogs through it now with great success. Not every dog, of course, comes out 100%, but we are definitely seeing great improvements.
Is there a particular protocol that you work through, whether it's desensitization or desensitization with medication, or how does it work if someone were going to hire you for storm phobia?
We basically have kind of a 5-step protocol that we put in place, that I use. I mean, it spans beyond this, but more or less we stop the trigger, which that's the same for anything. In this case, it's more about management, because you unfortunately don't control Mother Nature, but we do a lot of management in place to help make the sounds go away as much as we can, control them. And then, of course, the second step is you have to get to a VB, veterinary behaviorist, or to a veterinarian that's, practice some sort of behavior, or has knowledge in behavior is what I'm trying to say. And then from there, we do a calmness protocol, because I like to work with a dog, desensitization, counter conditioning, and calmness, rather than, excitement as much as possible for this particular, because from excitement, you can't control the storm. That's the big thing, is we can't control the storm. And then the next step is to go into playing some games to help them through noise sensitivity, so they feel like they have control over sounds. And then from there, we take on the desensitization, counter conditioning part.
And do you find some of the people are sort of just, for lack of a better word, stuffing or putting their animal in a crate when, a heavy thunderstorm is rolling through?
I have seen that, and that's usually the hardest part. And they're doing it to protect their house. So you have to understand where the people are coming from too. It's not that, they mean to do more harm or anything. It's just that they're frustrated and they don't know how to help their animal. So they're protecting, and many of these dogs have, gone and gotten lost during storms or other noise instances. So they think they're protecting them the best they can.
That's a good point. I didn't obviously see it from the owner's point of view, but I guess I have seen homes torn apart with separation anxiety dogs. Yep. So that makes really good sense. And you just finished construction on a training facility up in Florida, didn't you?
I sure did. We have an 1,800 square foot facility for classes. And then, of course, I do some board and train now. And then we just added in a 4 kennel, I shouldn't say kennel because we're building out the rooms. And I want it to look like a little mini room for them instead of a, kennel for a board and train program.
Oh, wow. And will you be doing like dog sitting too, maybe, if you have the kennels available, if someone's going away for a week? Or
at this time, we're going to strictly make it to board and train, but we are going to open the board and train during the holidays, so that if you are leaving for the holidays, you do have the option to pay for board and train and get training done while you're away. So your own Christmas present to yourself, I guess. Have
you run through a board and train with any dogs yet, or this is an offering you're going to bring up soon?
We've been doing it, a single dog here and there. And, our board and train's a little different because I really focus on kind of de-stressing the dogs as well. So when they come in, I'm really looking to de-stress and then focus specifically on the behavior challenge that the client's having.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. And on the professional dog trainer, animal trainer side, in your opinion, what sets apart maybe someone who is a professional trainer and is maybe a member of IAABC or has done Karen Pryor or Pat Miller, as opposed to maybe someone who watches one dog training video on YouTube and then the next day they put up a website and they call themselves a trainer?
I think because we have an entire toolbox that we can work with. So we've also seen several dogs go through several different programs. The biggest thing is that having had your own dog and train it, you haven't been able to see all of the other things that you could come across. You haven't got the network of professionals that are available to someone that's been through several programs, so that if for some reason you did get thrown for a loop, you have someone to rely on that you also know is going to use the same science-based force-free techniques to help guide you through it. And then, of course, with experience, we get more knowledge. So it's not only that we, gain more knowledge through courses and workshops that we continue to expand on, but also each dog teaches us something, I think.
And as you've worked along in your dog training career, have you had any specific mentors that have helped to guide you in your way?
I have. Like I said, I studied under Pat Miller. I've also worked with several people from the Karen Pryor Academy. I have, Brad and Lisa Wagner were kind of my first people that I really were able to study underneath with Pat Miller Academy, because I actually did level 1 in Murphy, North Carolina, instead of going to Pat Miller Academy in Maryland. And then I went up there. And the reason I did that is to expand my knowledge base of being with different trainers. So I thought that was able to get me a more well-rounded education that way.
And if there's someone at home struggling or just starting off trying to learn about animal behavior and dog training, are there maybe 1 or 2 resources or books you would recommend folks check out?
Yep. The Power of Positive Dog Training with Pat Miller, and Don't Shoot the Dog with Karen Pryor would be my 2 favorites.
And your the phobia, back to the phobia thing, is that do you do most of that online, or is it in person?
I do. Yeah, all of that is online. I usually meet with my clients every 2 weeks for Thunderstorm, and then of course with separation anxiety every week online.
Oh,